And I'm so honored to tell you, Mrs. Doyle, my friend, that I love so dearly, that you have been selected to be our very first Legacy Woman of the Year for the 2022 Women's Conference in Galveston. We always celebrate incredible women who do incredible things, but we've never had a Legacy winner. And so you will hold as the very first Legacy Women of the Year. And so congratulations. Yeah, you stay down. And
I was born in Kansas at the tail end of the Depression, 1934. My birth mother and father had 13 children. I was the 14th. My birth mother went to a doctor in town who was to become my uncle, and she said, "I cannot handle another child." So my uncle-to-be knew that his sister and her husband had been unable to have children, and he said, "I can take your baby and place her with a very nice couple." And my birth mother said, "Fine." And she called my Uncle Jim as she went into labor and said, "I'm getting ready to have this baby. You best call your sister." And so Uncle Jim came to deliver me, but before that, he called Ellen and Tom Hip. And that's who blessed me with the beginning of my life. I lived my entire undergraduate life in Bartlesville, which is a delightful town of about 50,000. Most every one of them was well educated because they were Phillips Petroleum Company employees. My mother was a nurse. Very good to have a nurse as your mother. So I spent 2 years with my father and mother in Dumas, Texas, where they had a plant. But otherwise, I was in Bartlesville the whole time. I spent 4 years at Oklahoma University. If you were in a sorority, you could live in the house. And it was a beautiful house. I met a lot of people there. I was majoring in journalism, and the girl about a half a block away from me, who was in a different sorority, was also a major in journalism. And we walked to our classes that were in the journalism building, which looked like it was about ready to fall down around us. But we had, that girl and I had a real bond. They sent us out to interview people in Oklahoma City, celebrities. I met a lot of celebrities during my senior year. Graduated, but before I graduated, I met a young man, and a friend of mine named Russell saw me on campus one day, and he said, "Mary Ellen, I have a pledge that would like to meet you." Of course, I was at that time a junior, and I looked at him and I said, "Oh, Russell, I'm much too old for a pledge." He said, "Oh, no, this guy came in as a junior." "Oh, okay, that's fine. Have him call me. What's his name?" "His name is Chuck Doyle." I said, "Okay, I'll remember that." he called. I did remember that. But come the day that I was to have a date with him, I forgot his first name. So I went down the stairs to the foyer, and he said, "Hi." And I said, "Doyle, I'm so glad to meet you." There again, it's a blessing that Chuck ever bothered to have another date. But we did date, we fell in love. I didn't know what an exceptional man he was at that time. He was an exceptional person to me, but I never realized how really exceptional he was. I graduated in May, he graduated in August, and we were married the end of August, 1956. We got married, and Chuck took a job with Union Carbide. Union Carbide no longer exists, but he was working in resources, human resources. I worked for the Texas City Sun, and Ragsdale was my editor. And then Chuck Doyle, who had gone to school on a partial ROTC scholarship, had to pay the Army back, got money. So we went to Fort Knox. We stayed there for 4 months, and then it was time to get his first assignment. And it was in Germany. Now, that was a real blessing. We went to Germany. We were newlyweds, had no children. We traveled every weekend. And for a while, we lived on what they called the economy. We had a wonderful time, and we saw just most of Central Europe while we were there. It was such a blessing. Then we came home, and Union Carbide was back there for us. But before we came home, we had Matt Doyle. And he cost $7 for the whole birthing process. That's why we had 4 more children. But they were born right here in Texas. And we came home with this baby, the same car that we left with. But it was delightful to be home, and both our sets of parents were just so happy to meet Matt. We moved back to Texas City. Chuck went back to Union Carbide. I got a job with the Sun again, but this time I was writing a column from the house, a society column. So, as time went along, we had David, we had Denise, we had Patrick, and we had Christopher. And then our family was complete. And we lived our life raising those children. And Chuck began to show what an exceptional person he was. He ran for city commission as a young man. He was the youngest at that time city commissioner they had ever had. He also was going to the University of Houston downtown campus to get his master's degree. So he was busy. I was busy. We were both involved in the child rearing in the community. But after the city commission job, Chuck withdrew and Chuck ran for mayor and was elected. In the year 1990, Chuck served as mayor until the year 2000. Chuck, as you can understand, is one of my superheroes. But at the risk of sounding odd, I must tell you that God is one of my most superheroes. He has taken good care of me, even when I was in the womb. So I count him first as my superhero, but Chuck is second. My children have been such a blessing to me and made my life as a mother very joyous. It too was a blessing.
Today is an honor to be able to talk about someone that's very dear to my heart, Mary Ellen Doyle.
I am so happy and honored to be able to say congratulations to Miss Mary Ellen Doyle on your accomplishment with this Women in Leadership Award. It does not surprise me at all that you have been selected for this honor, for you have been such a great impact and influence in the lives of so many people.
Let me offer my sincere congratulations to Mrs. Doyle for this Superpower Woman Award. I don't think it could come to anyone that's more deserving.
This is a great opportunity to say thank to Mary Ellen Doyle, because we know that her and her husband made the last gift to make possible the Salvation Army in Texas City.
Well, Mary Ellen Doyle, she means a lot to the organization because with our students, if they're hungry, they cannot focus in their education. So with the kitchen that Mary Ellen Doyle provides for us, it provides us an opportunity to feed our students so they can focus in all their activities.
Because of the strong support for well over 50 years by Mrs. Doyle and the entire family, our Board of Trustees chose to name our new administration building after the family.
I can tell you, we wouldn't be where we're at today with United Way Galveston County Mainland if we didn't have all that dedication as a volunteer of Mary Ellen Doyle and a staunch supporter of our United Way.
You know, when we think about superpowers, Mrs. Doyle, I think, possesses several.
My mom's superpower is toleration.
My mom's superpower is patience. Lots of patience.
My mom's superpower, which is the same mom, is always be humble and kind. And no, she did not write the song for Tim McGraw, but she could have.
My mom's superpower is making people feel special.
I do believe you have a superpower that is possessed by no other, Mrs. Doyle, and that superpower is the ability to make people feel like family who are not related to you in any way.
I would say that Mary Ellen Doyle's superpower is her kindness. Since the first time I met her, she looked at me and she talked to me and she held my hand and she was very caring.
You can't tell her no. That's her superpower. You can't tell Mary Ellen Doyle no when she comes to ask you for something.
That she has the ability to relate to everyone. Everyone seems to be a friend, and I certainly consider her to be one.
Well, congratulations, Mom. We're all very proud of you.
You're the best. You're a legend in my mind.
Congratulations, miraculous mom. We love you so much.
Congratulations, Mom. You're the best.
So, here we are. I'm an old woman, and I'm becoming a legend today. So, at 88, I'm going to be a legend, and what more of a blessing could you ask? Galveston County, Texas City, Lamar Dickinson, East Bolivar, that little part of Galveston County has been a true home to Chuck and I and our children. And we thank you. Couldn't have asked for anything better. I am not going to visit the 90s. That doesn't appeal to me. 88 may be where I stop counting. Thank you very much.
We're very proud of you, Mary Ellen, and that you work hard for all of us and all your friends in the community. And
That's because I
love you for that. And just remember this, that when the rest of my life is through, the most wonderful thing I've ever done is simply loving you.